Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Reader's Magnet featured author interview, where we dive deep into the world of creativity and inspiration. And our guest for today is the authors of the book "I Found My Rib: A Testimony of Love, Marriage, and Oneness." So please help me welcome Gwendolyn and Terrence Johnson. To the both of you, how are you doing today?
We're
Oh,
doing
doing
good.
great,
How
doing
are
well. How are
you?
you?
Well, I'm doing good. Thank you very much for asking. And by the way, welcome to the Hive. And to all of our viewers, though, as you can see, though, book covers there. I think it's on top of me. As you can
Yeah.
see, I'm on this small screen because, again, Gwendolyn Terrence, this is a co-authored book. And what's wonderful about this, though, it's available for purchase. But if you want to know what this book is all about, let's ask the authors themselves. But first, Gwendolyn and Dr. Terrence, please tell us who you are and what this book is all about.
How you doing? We're Gwendolyn and Terrence Johnson. We've been married for 35 plus years. We wrote this book after I got sick.
Oh.
What happened was that the condition, kidney failure, and what happened was that it seemed like going through the struggle of this kidney failure, it drove us so much closer together in our marriage that our
Mhm.
love even just got even. And we just wanted to share with the world that even when circumstances come in your marriage, you don't have to give up or you don't have to divorce. You don't have to get. It seems like, amen, it draws us closer to one another.
Love that, love that, and I really love the idea when it comes with the book, though, and also the inspiration for this. But just asking more about when it comes with the book. So, what really inspired the idea for this book? Hence the reason for its creation.
I think the idea was more inspired, like Terrence said after we found out he was sick.
Hmm.
The idea is inspired more so you can help other people. Um, so, like he said, sometimes you feel alone going through things, and sometimes just to know that somebody else has gone through something similar or the same thing and they're doing okay now. It's just a boost or a morale booster to give you that push where, okay, if they did it, I can do it too.
And I do love the idea of having, because again, coming back with what you said though here, Gwendolyn, it's more of like trying to inspire other people as well, that you guys are not going through this alone. There
Yeah,
are some
yeah,
people putting the story, and getting this published out and making sure a lot of people can reach this is something that is really inspiring as well. So just one quick question when it comes with the book as well, because again, you wrote the story, everything has been fleshed out, especially getting the reason, which is coming from both of your lives. Just want to ask you, what do you think makes a very good story then?
what makes a good story to me is a true story. I
Mhm.
mean, fiction is great, but when you get someone with a true story, the real story, and then, like you said, someone can identify with that story, I think it makes it a great story. When you can identify with it, it's like like we were saying that we wrote it. Like, in other words, if someone else was going through this, they could be inspired. They could be, they don't have to give up. They don't have to succumb to their condition. And they don't have to feel alone. So I think a real story, a true story, makes a good story,
A reality,
a reality.
something
Yeah,
that's
Bre-
more
yeah,
reality. We love the fairy tales, we love
yeah,
and we love the drama,
yeah,
but when it comes to facing certain life circumstances, the reality of what someone else is going through and how it matches with what you're going through, it makes it
Mhm.
makes it even better.
I love that. Love that. And yeah, I do agree with that when it comes with having reality as a very good story. And I can back you up. I might be a fan of fiction like science fiction or
right.
fairy tales, but
Yeah,
again, it's also nice to have a flair of fantasy within each and every time you read a book. But reading real lives that really
yeah,
matter and talking about real emotions, real experiences is something that you can't get enough of. I don't know. Maybe it's me being nosy around some people's lives, though, but it's really something else when it comes with real people having real life struggles and thinking to yourself while you're reading each page, like, damn, this is what I was, this is what I'm going through right now, and this is what I can relate to.
right.
And
Hmm.
uh,
Exactly.
really love that. But also, Gwendolyn and Dr. Terrence, one thing that I just want to ask you, because again, within your book, again, talking about love, marriage and oneness. If there's something like a key lesson within your book, what is this key lesson that the both of you had shared within this book that is part of your personal experiences?
Well, it what we wanted people to understand in the book was that it wasn't us. It was our faith in God
Oh.
that really sustained us. You know,
Hmm.
like I said, we grew so much closer. Our
Hmm.
trust in God just grew so, so much greater. It was our faith in God that really brought us out of this. It was just our faith in God. And it was just really inspired us to write this book. What God
Hmm.
has really done for us. And we just give
Hmm.
thanks for what he has done.
Hmm. Uh,
But
and
a different way or another way to put it too is like no matter what you go through, always remember God is there with you
You're
and
not
can
by yourself.
always,
Yeah.
always, always help you.
I love that. And here's just one question though from the top of my head here, because again, talking about marriage and again talking about the both of you having God as the center and making sure that the both of you will grow in closeness,
Yes.
be together, and look at the both of you. You are here right now,
Yeah.
live in the flesh, still together, still
Yeah.
happily married. If there is one thing that you can give advice to some couples out there, because again, there are some couples who might be having some struggles with their marriage and they think that they've tried everything. Is there any advice you can give to them to make sure that they can be like you guys, like someone that they can follow as an example as well?
Well, like I say,
Hmm.
you gotta put God first.
Hmm.
And I know people say it's a cliche or it's hard. Yes, it's hard. Marriage is not easy. It's like
Hmm.
anything else. You got to work at it. But when
Hmm.
you have the God Almighty, the one that's in control,
Hmm.
that's there to help you and to assist you, and you willing to listen to one another. This is the key: willing to listen to one another and willing to not so much compromise, but be there for each other, being there for one another. Marriage is not easy. It's not easy.
Hmm.
It's not easy. But you have to work at it. You have to work at it. You have to want it. That's what I want to say. You
Hmm.
have to really want it. If you really want this, really want your marriage to work, you have to really work at it. And no matter circumstance come, let's work on it. Let's work on it together. Let's do it together. Don't isolate ourselves from one another. Let's do it together. And that's what we've been doing. She been my rock the whole time through my illness. We worked together. And I think that's what helps.
it, it's it's a communication.
Yeah.
You have to communicate. You have to remember we're two separate individuals. We became one when we got married. But you're still two individual people. You have
Yeah.
two different mind mind processes going on. So, but you have to come together with the communication aspect of
Yes.
it and talk to each other about any and everything.
Hmm.
Because if I have something going on and he doesn't know, it makes it even more difficult. Like, okay, I see her walking around or not her usual self, but he doesn't know what's going on. So it can snowball and create more of a problem rather than
Yes.
a solution. Whereas if I talk to him about what I'm going through or how I feel, then I have somebody that I can lean on and depend on and say, this is how I feel. What do you think about this? So I can talk and, and we can talk to one another and then kind of work our way through the issue or circumstance.
Hmm. I love that. And Gwendolyn, are you referring to, because again on the book as well that you were talking about the his and her segments? Is this what you're trying to refer to?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, in
Yeah.
a sense, but
Hmm.
even in life as it is, we have to talk to one another. We have to communicate. But yes, in the book we do have a his and her section.
And then
So in
Hmm.
each section, his, hers, and then together. So in each section, say the section where we talk about when he actually goes for the surgery, for the transplant surgery. So he gives his perspective of how we felt. I give my perspective of how I felt. And then together, corporately, we give our perspective of how we both felt about the situation.
Love that, love that, love that. And again, because I really love that going there and talking more about this book. And at least now it's a clarification about the his and her segment as well. And
Yeah,
because again, there are a lot of things that in the book that I also try to check out. Like they also the phrase like two become one.
right,
Like if I want to ask you though, because again, we're talking about having God as a center here.
right,
But when we say two become one, I from my own understanding is I understand that it means that the both of you need to go through it together.
right.
Beyond that, is there anything else that two become one means on a different perspective and sense as well in the book?
Well, when you're married for a long time, and even like our parents, we see you start begin to almost look like one another.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
no, then you start anticipating what that other person's about to do because you've been together so long. So you almost
Hmm.
become one, and that's what the Bible tells us. In marriage, the two shall become one. And in other words, that we are just so close knitted together. There's nothing closer than a husband and wife on this earth. It should be nothing closer than a husband and a wife. And when you have that closeness, and it's that love. It's that love
Great.
for one another that brings us close together and make us have that oneness.
I really love that though. And hey, it puts a different perspective. Like
Yeah,
to become one, it does
yeah,
not mean that you're getting married, but it's anticipating your
right,
partner because you
right,
do know your partner in and out.
right.
Love that. Love that
Exactly.
one.
Right. Yeah. It takes time to learn one another.
Right.
I think some people think a lot of time when you get married, like things just going to work out. No, it takes time. It
Hmm.
takes time. It takes time. And like I said, we've been married for over 35 years. So,
Well,
we've been married for a while. Yeah. So I can almost look at her facial expression and almost tell what she's thinking, you know, whatever. Yeah. Because we've been together, and vice versa. Yeah. Yeah. Like we have this little thing, like I may act like pretend like I'm asleep when she come home. She know the way I'm laying down. I'm not asleep. She knows me. From that oneness. That
really,
oneness. Yes.
really
It's
love that.
even to the point like where
Yeah.
if you a sentence and
Yeah.
before you finish, he's finishing it,
Yeah.
or he'll say something and I'll finish it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you learn
Yeah.
like you said, you
Yeah.
learn one
You become
another.
one. You become one. Yes.
I really love that. Again, finishing each other's. I was thinking about
Yeah.
finishing each other's sandwiches, but it's sentences. But
Right.
again, coming back on the whole thing, it's such a lovely thing. Again,
Don't be
35
it.
years in marriage. Yeah, did it connect? Did it connect?
No, you say each other
Listen,
sandwiches. I say, yeah, food.
Yeah, yeah. I love food. But again, but hey, you know what,
Yeah.
Dr. Terrence and Gwendolyn, if there's because you know what, I really love about this. Again, 35 years, being
Yeah.
together, staying
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
is one thing that a lot of couples who are starting out though and striving. Again, I'm not
Yeah.
getting married, but
Yeah.
if this is one thing that I can also have a takeaway. But
Right.
I want to ask both of you, Gwendolyn, Terrence, just one quick question though. Like, what are before we end this up, just what are your takeaways like from the book that basically can inform to couples looking to strengthen their bond through faith and unity? Any advice that you can give to them?
Well, I would give couples today advice that, like we said, that
Hmm.
you don't know what the future holds. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We up today like we didn't know this was going to happen in our lives. And so instead of falling apart, I won't say we embraced it. We moved forward. We said we're not going to let this defeat us. We're not going to let this tear down our marriage or our family. We just put it all in God's hand and did what we had supposed to do. Do our part. And the key is do your part. Do your part. And when I mean do your part, do what you're supposed to do as a husband. Do what you're supposed to do as a wife. Don't fall apart. Please don't fall apart. There are gonna be times, yeah, where it gonna seem overwhelming. But that's
Hmm.
when my wife said that's when you lean on one another. That's when you depend on each other. That's when you sit down and talk to one another. Express yourself. Don't hold it in. Because sometimes you bottle it in. The next thing you take the next step, you start drifting away from one another. My key is communicate with one another, talk to one another in those frustrating times. Don't hold it in. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out.
Love that. Love that. And anything else you want to add on to this, Gwendolyn?
No more than that. That's that oneness, because I was going to
Yeah.
go down that same aisle.
Yeah.
So,
It's really that oneness. Both of you really
Yeah.
have the same idea when it comes with
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I
it's
really
true
love it.
because,
Yeah,
like
go on.
you said, you don't know what you will face from day to day, and not even in your marriage or in your families. So in this situation, it was my husband got sick,
Mhm.
but you also have to deal with, we both have families. It could be a loved one that was sick, but
Right.
you still have to talk to one another, let them know how you feel. Like when my grandmother was living, it was hard. It was difficult
Mhm.
to see her go through that, but talking about it helped to make, okay, we can do this.
Love that, love that. And you know what, Gwendolyn and Dr. Terrence, I would want to say thank you much for that. And again, based on what I'm trying to get here, and correct me if I'm wrong here, communication is really the main point and key for a very successful relationship. Talking about your side, making sure that you can talk it out and voice it out, help each other become one, which is the
Yep.
oneness thing. And I really love the concept of oneness, not
Yeah.
being one as a married couple, but being one as a single individual. And I really love that when it comes with this, Dr. Terrence.
Yeah.
So and you know what, to all of our viewers though and book lovers, be sure to grab a copy of the book. Again, that is available through Amazon. And again, just want to make sure though, if ever you do love this, want to say this, Gwendolyn, Dr. Terrence, just want to say this. Thank you very much for joining us today. And
You're
it was
welcome.
really a fun having this conversation with you. A couple of laughs, talking about life, talking
Yeah.
about struggles, and talking about the very wonderful experience, which is us and life
Yeah.
happening as we know it. Really loved it.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having
Thank
us.
you.
You know what? And again, get also, by the way, to all of our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. And always remember that every ending is just a new beginning in the world of stories. May your
Yep.
reading adventures be endless and your imagination boundless. And as we say here at Readers Magnet, we share your stories with the world. Thank you and have a good one. God bless you both. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you. Take
Bye.
care.